Excuse me a second. Let the record reflect that the defendant is laughing during the victim impact statement. Go ahead, ma'am, I apologize.
Chyna was just 3 weeks away from walking across the stage to graduate high school, and you took that opportunity away from her.
Despite the judge's comment, Foy continues to make faces.
When you came and ate dinner with us, you went out with us multiple times. So we would have expected better from you. And I just want you to know, like, when you get back to your cell, we want you to think about the pain you caused me and my family and friends.
You want to address the court, Mr. Foy?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
6 other witnesses said I wasn't there. You have 2 females said I was there that was on a FaceTime call.
Sir, we're not trying the case. The case has been tried. The jury was convinced beyond a reasonable doubt. Sir, you can't talk at the same time as I talk because the stenographer is going to take down my words.
Okay.
If you want your words recorded, you can't try to talk over me. The jury's already decided that issue, sir. Anything else you want to say to the court, sir?
Yeah. You're a biased judge and I can't wait to appeal to see my case. I'm innocent.
Is that why you were laughing throughout the statement by the
She was laughing
sister of... Is that why you were laughing, sir?
She was laughing at me. Think I'm
Anything else, sir?
Yes.
Go ahead, finish.
I'm innocent.
The graduation photos were still fresh. Chyna Forney, radiant in her cap and gown, smiled with the promise of tomorrow in her eyes. Just 18 years old, she stood on the threshold of a future brimming with possibility: nursing school, college track meets, a life of healing others. Those same photos now adorned a makeshift memorial on Essex Street in Albany. Surrounded by candles, flowers, and tear-stained notes, they captured a future that would never come to pass. In a single moment, 31 bullets tore through the spring air, and one found Chyna's back. A vibrant life, extinguished just weeks before she would have walked across the graduation stage. Before we continue this heartbreaking journey, I need you to stay with me. What you're about to hear isn't just another crime story. It's a warning about trust betrayed and innocence shattered. Throughout this video, I'll be asking questions that might help protect you or someone you love from a similar fate. So pay close attention. The details matter. The most chilling aspect of Chyna's story isn't just the senseless violence that claimed her life. It's that the people responsible weren't strangers. They were familiar faces in her community, people who should have protected her, not destroyed her. People who, after stealing her future, showed no remorse for their actions. As Chyna's mother clutched her daughter's graduation photo in the courtroom, she watched in horror as one of the killers displayed a coldness that defies comprehension. No tears, no apologies, only the hollow emptiness of someone who took a precious life and felt nothing. This is the story of Chyna Forney, athlete, dancer, future nurse, beloved daughter, and how those she should have been able to trust became the architects of her destruction. At Albany Leadership Charter School for Girls, everyone knew Chyna Forney's laugh. It rang through hallways like music, genuine, infectious, impossible to ignore. Teachers described her as a bright, shining light. Classmates called her the heartbeat of our school. At just 18, Chyna wasn't merely existing, she was flourishing. On the track field, she transformed into a force of nature. Her legs pumped with determination as she sprinted toward finish lines and future college competitions. Coaches noted her rare combination of natural talent and relentless work ethic. She never gave less than everything, her track coach remembered. But Chyna's talents extended beyond athletics. As co-captain of the dance team, she moved with grace that captivated audiences and inspired her teammates. Her co-captain Queen Malia Rollin recalled, "You could be feeling the worst pain ever, down, sad, not feeling right, and Chyna would comfort you and just make you laugh." Behind her vibrant personality lay serious ambition. Chyna had mapped out her future with precision: graduation, nursing school, a career saving lives. Her notebooks contained detailed plans which colleges to apply to, scholarship opportunities, even the scrubs she hoped to wear one day. She'd already begun volunteering at local health clinics, getting early experience in the field she loved. At home, Chyna was the family's pride. Photos covered the refrigerator, Chyna breaking track records, Chyna in dance competitions, Chyna studying late into the night. Her mother had already planned an elaborate graduation celebration, ordering custom decorations months in advance. Friends described how Chyna would text them encouraging messages before exams or competitions. "You've got this. Proud of you no matter what." These small kindnesses defined her character, always lifting others while pursuing her own dreams. No one who knew Chyna could have imagined that her bright future would be extinguished just weeks before graduation. No one except those who already planned to pull the trigger. At Albany Leadership Charter School for Girls, everyone knew Chyna Forney's laugh. It rang through hallways like music, genuine, infectious, impossible to ignore. Teachers described her as a bright, shining light. Classmates called her the heartbeat of our school. At just 18, Chyna wasn't merely existing, she was flourishing. On the track field, she transformed into a force of nature. Her legs pumped with determination as she sprinted toward finish lines and future college competitions. Coaches noted her rare combination of natural talent and relentless work ethic. She never gave less than everything, her track coach remembered. But Chyna's talents extended beyond athletics. As co-captain of the dance team, she moved with grace that captivated audiences and inspired her teammates. Her co-captain Queen Malia Rollin recalled, "You could be feeling the worst pain ever, down, sad, not feeling right, and Chyna would comfort you and just make you laugh." Behind her vibrant personality lay serious ambition. Chyna had mapped out her future with precision: graduation, nursing school, a career saving lives. Her notebooks contained detailed plans which colleges to apply to, scholarship opportunities, even the scrub she hoped to wear one day. She'd already begun volunteering at local health clinics, getting early experience in the field she loved. At home, Chyna was the family's pride. Photos covered the refrigerator: Chyna breaking track records, Chyna in dance competitions, Chyna studying late into the night. Her mother had already planned an elaborate graduation celebration, ordering custom decorations months in advance. Friends described how Chyna would text them encouraging messages before exams or competitions. "You've got this. Proud of you no matter what." These small kindnesses defined her character, always lifting others while pursuing her own dreams. No one who knew Chyna could have imagined that her bright future would be extinguished just weeks before graduation. No one except those who already planned to pull the trigger. May 3rd, 2021 began like any ordinary Monday in Albany. The spring air carried the scent of blooming flowers and the promise of summer. For Chyna Forney, it was just 24 days until graduation. She tried on her cap and gown the night before, texting photos to her closest friends with excited emojis. That morning, Chyna kissed her mother goodbye. "See you at dinner," she said, words that would haunt her family forever. She headed out wearing her favorite sneakers and a light jacket against the spring chill. Her backpack contained nursing program brochures she planned to review with her guidance counselor that afternoon. At 2:30 p.m., Chyna was walking with friends along Essex Street. They were laughing, discussing weekend plans and graduation parties. Security footage from a nearby store captured her radiant smile just moments before tragedy struck. At 2:35 p.m., a dark sedan with tinted windows crawled down Essex Street. The car slowed as it approached Chyna's group. Without warning, the windows lowered. The next 12 seconds changed everything. The sound of gunfire echoed through the neighborhood. Not one shot, not 5, but 31 bullets sprayed indiscriminately from the vehicle. Residents dove for cover. A mother yanked her toddler behind a parked car. An elderly man fell to the ground, covering his head. When the shooting stopped, the sedan screeched away, leaving behind a war zone of shell casings, shattered glass, and blood on the pavement. Chyna lay motionless on the street, a single bullet in her back. Her friends screamed for help, pressing their jackets against her wound. One called 911 while another called Chyna's mother. Emergency responders arrived within minutes. They worked frantically to save her, but the bullet had caused catastrophic damage. At 3:17 p.m., Chyna Forney was pronounced dead at Albany Medical Center, her nursing school dreams forever unfulfilled. As news spread, students gathered outside the hospital. Many collapsed in grief. Teachers rushed to provide comfort. By nightfall, hundreds of candles illuminated Essex Street. But as Chyna's community mourned, I want you to consider this question: how well do we really know the people in our neighborhoods, the people we pass every day? Because as investigators would soon discover, Chyna's killers weren't strangers from another town. They were people who had walked these same streets for years. The hunt for Chyna's killers began before her body reached the hospital. Detectives descended on Essex Street, marking each of the 40 shell casings with yellow evidence tags. The scene resembled a macabre connect-the-dots puzzle stretching half a block. "I've never seen this many casings at a scene," one detective admitted, photographing bullet holes that pierced car doors, shattered windows, and embedded in brick walls. The sheer volume of ammunition suggested not just violence, but rage or worse, complete indifference to human life. Surveillance cameras became crucial allies. Footage from 6 different locations captured the dark sedan's approach, the muzzle flashes, and its escape route through residential streets. The vehicle's license plate was partially visible in one frame, enough for a starting point. Witnesses came forward despite fear of retaliation. One described seeing 2 men in the car. Another recognized the driver's distinctive gold watch. These details, seemingly minor, would prove devastating to the killers. Within 48 hours, police identified 2 suspects, 20-year-old Chyna Manning and 20-year-old Albany Foy. Both were known in the neighborhood. Both had criminal histories. And most disturbing of all, both had connections to Chyna's social circle. The revelations sent shockwaves through the community. These weren't outsiders. These were young men who had attended the same community events as Chyna, who knew some of the same people, who had grown up on these streets. When officers arrested Manning at his apartment, they found the gold watch described by witnesses. More damning still, they discovered the murder weapon hidden in his bedroom closet, an illegal firearm with his fingerprints all over it. Foy was apprehended attempting to board a bus to Philadelphia. In his backpack, a box of ammunition matching the casings found at the scene. As both men were led into the police station in handcuffs, neither showed a flicker of remorse. Manning even smirked at the cameras, a chilling preview of his courtroom behavior to come. But what transformed these young men from community members to cold-blooded killers? The answer would reveal a betrayal even deeper than anyone imagined. The most devastating truth about Chyna's murder wasn't just who killed her, but how close they had been to her world. As investigators dug deeper, connections emerged that left Chyna's family reeling. Chyna Manning wasn't a stranger. He had attended the same community center where Chyna volunteered. Photos surfaced of both at a neighborhood basketball tournament the previous summer, Manning in the background while Chyna sold refreshments as a fundraiser for her school. They had mutual friends. They had shared spaces. They had existed in the same ecosystem of Albany youth. Even more shocking was Manning's connection to Chyna's cousin. They had been childhood friends, playing video games together and attending the same middle school. Manning had been inside Chyna's family home for birthday parties. He had eaten at their table. He had been trusted. He knew her. Chyna's mother said through tears at a press conference, "He knew my daughter's dreams. He'd heard her talk about becoming a nurse, and he took all of that away." Albany Foy, I had fewer direct connections but still moved within the same social circles. His younger sister had once been on Chyna's dance team. He had watched Chyna perform. He had applauded her talents. The betrayal cut deeper with each revelation. These weren't anonymous killers, they were community members who had violated the most basic covenant of neighborhood trust. Court documents revealed the motive behind the shooting. Manning and Foy had targeted a rival they believed was among the group walking with Chyna. Their intended victim wasn't even present. 31 bullets fired, and they missed their target completely, instead killing a bright young woman who had never wronged them. Most disturbing was Manning's criminal status at the time of the murder. He was already out on bail for illegal weapon possession, a previous arrest that should have kept him off the streets. The system had failed Chyna by releasing a dangerous individual back into the community. Text messages recovered from Manning's phone showed no concern for Chyna's life. Hours after the shooting, he messaged Foy, "Got the wrong one, but whatever." No remorse. No acknowledgement of the precious life they had extinguished. Just whatever. This casual disregard for human life foreshadowed their courtroom behavior, where the depth of their betrayal would be displayed for all to see. For Chyna's family, the connections between victim and killers made grief even harder to bear. How do you process being murdered by someone who once sat at your dinner table? The Albany County Courthouse fell silent as Chyna Manning entered on October 21, 2022. Dressed in prison orange, he walked with an unsettling confidence, shoulders back, head high, eyes scanning the gallery until they found Chyna's family. Then he smiled. The collective gasp was audible. Chyna's mother clutched her daughter's graduation photo so tightly the frame cracked. Manning's smirk never faltered as he faced the judge and entered his guilty to second-degree murder. When offered the chance to address the court to apologize to the family, whose lives he had shattered, Manning shrugged and said, "It is what it is." 4 words. 4 words that revealed the hollow void where remorse should live. The judge, visibly disturbed by Manning's callousness, handed down the maximum sentence, 20 years to life. Your disregard for human life is matched only by your disregard for human decency in this courtroom, the judge declared. Alvin Foy I's trial began months later. Unlike Manning, he pleaded not guilty, forcing Chyna to endure weeks of testimony and evidence, including the surveillance video showing their daughter's final moments. Throughout the proceedings, Foy remained expressionless, often appearing bored. He doodled on legal pads while witnesses described the shooting. When autopsy photos were shown, he yawned. The jury deliberated just 4 hours before returning a guilty verdict on April 3, 2023. As the word guilty echoed through the courtroom, Foy finally showed emotion, anger. He slammed his fist on the defense table and glared at the jury. His sentencing hearing a week later showcased his true character. Given the opportunity to express remorse, Foy instead blamed everyone but himself, the police, the witnesses, even Chyna for being in the wrong place. The judge was unmoved, sentencing him to 25 years to life, 5 years more than Manning received. As Foy was led away, he turned toward Chyna's family and muttered, "Still worth it." The courtroom erupted in outrage. Bailiffs rushed to restore order. And through it all, Chyna's mother held her daughter's photo, whispering to it, "We got justice, baby. We got justice." But was justice enough? Could any sentence repair what these former community members had destroyed? Albany shattered in the wake of Chyna's murder. The betrayal by local young men, one who had shared meals with her family, transformed community trust into community suspicion. Albany Leadership Charter School closed for 2 days following her death. When students returned, Chyna's empty desk became a memorial covered with notes, flowers, and photos. Her track uniform was framed and hung in the school's entrance hall. No one could bear to see another student wear her number. "We lost more than a student," Principal Karina Cook explained. "We lost a future nurse, a leader, a peacemaker. We lost possibilities." Counselors worked overtime as students processed not just grief but betrayal. Many knew both Chyna and her killers. The question, how could they do this, echoed through therapy sessions without satisfactory answers. On what would have been Chyna's graduation day, her mother walked across the stage to receive her daughter's diploma. 2,000 people stood in silent tribute. The applause when her name was called lasted 5 full minutes. Pastor Charlie Muller of Victory Christian Church, who had offered a $10,000 reward during the investigation, redirected his efforts toward healing. His church established the Chyna Forney Memorial Scholarship for aspiring nurses, turning tragedy into opportunity for others sharing her dream. The neighborhood around Essex Street transformed too. Residents installed security cameras. Community watch groups formed. Parents implemented stricter curfews. Trust once given freely became a guarded resource. But amid the fear grew determination. Hundreds attended anti-violence rallies. Mentorship programs for young men expanded. Mothers organized peace walks every May 3rd, retracing Chyna's final steps while reclaiming their streets from violence. I want to ask you, how has violence affected your community? What changes have you seen in the aftermath? Share your experiences in the comments. Your insight might help others healing from similar tragedies. The most powerful response to Chyna's death wasn't just grief, it was action. Albany refused to let betrayal have the final word. Chyna Forney's murder reveals uncomfortable truths about violence in our communities. Her death wasn't random, it emerged from specific failures we must confront. First, the justice system failed her. Manning was already out on bail for illegal weapon possession when he killed Chyna. This revolving door for violent offenders creates deadly consequences. Records showed he had violated bail conditions 3 times without repercussions. The judge who released him never knew Chyna's name until it appeared in her obituary. Second, early warning signs went unaddressed. Both killers displayed escalating violent behavior for years. Manning's social media contained videos of him brandishing weapons months before the murder. Foy had multiple school suspensions for fighting. These red flags waved visibly, yet no intervention occurred. Third, illegal guns flowed too easily into young hands. The weapon that killed Chyna had changed hands 5 times after being stolen from a Virginia gun shop. Each transaction represented an opportunity for intervention that never came. Fourth, community silence enabled violence. Neighbors later admitted seeing Manning with guns weeks before the shooting, but didn't report it. "Not my business," one said, until it became everyone's tragedy. Law enforcement experts identify 4 critical prevention points that might have saved Chyna. Stricter monitoring of bail violations for weapons offenders. School-based intervention programs targeting aggressive behavior. Anonymous tip lines with actual follow-up investigations. Community accountability networks where neighbors watch for warning signs. Albany has implemented all 4 since Chyna's death. In the first year alone, these measures led to 37 weapon confiscations and potentially prevented countless tragedies. The most effective prevention comes from understanding that violence doesn't appear from nowhere. It builds gradually, leaving evidence of its approach. Manning and Foy didn't become killers overnight. They traveled a documented path toward violence that others observed but didn't interrupt. What warning signs might you be missing in your own community? What behaviors are dismissed that should trigger concern? The next life saved could depend on your willingness to notice and act. Remember, Chyna died because people who should have protected her community instead betrayed it. The betrayal that ended Chyna's life offers crucial lessons for protecting ourselves and those we love. Her story isn't just tragedy, it's a roadmap for prevention. First, trust your instincts about behavioral changes. Chyna's friends noticed Manning becoming increasingly aggressive at community events. His language grew violent. His social media darkened with weapon photos. These weren't just bad boy phases, they were warning flares of escalating danger. When someone's behavior shifts dramatically, pay attention. Second, report concerning behavior immediately. Albany police established the Say Something text line after Chyna's death. In its first month, it received 84 tips about illegal weapons, resulting in 17 confiscations. Your observation could save lives. Third, know who's in your circle. Manning had been in Chyna's extended social network for years, but few knew about his growing criminal activities. Today's digital connections create false intimacy. Someone's Instagram presence may hide dangerous realities. Verify what you're told, especially regarding young people in your life. Fourth, establish safety protocols with your family. Chyna's parents now wish they'd created clearer communication expectations. Simple rules matter: sharing locations, checking in at designated times, immediately reporting threatening situations. These aren't helicopter parenting, they're reasonable precautions. Fifth, support intervention programs for troubled youth. After Chyna's murder, Albany expanded mentorship initiatives targeting young men showing early aggression signs. These programs work when communities fund them adequately. Most importantly, recognize that prevention is everyone's responsibility. The "not my problem" mindset creates vulnerable communities where violence thrives unchallenged. What safety measures have you implemented with your loved ones? Are there warning signs you've noticed but haven't reported? Your actions or inaction could determine whether another family experiences what Chyna's endured. The most painful truth about Chyna's death is its preventability. The warning signs were visible. The intervention points existed. The system simply failed to connect the dots. 3 years after bullets stole her future, Chyna Forney's presence remains powerful in Albany. Her legacy isn't defined by how she died, but by how her community transformed in response. The Chyna Forney Nursing Scholarship now sends 2 students to college annually. Recipients wear special pins with her initials during their pinning ceremonies, carrying her healing dreams forward through their own hands. Albany Leadership Charter School's track now bears her name. During meets, competitors from all schools observe a 18-second silence, 1 second for each year of her life. Her record in the 200-meter dash remains unbroken, her time still illuminated on the scoreboard. More consequentially, Albany's youth violence rates have dropped 27% since implementing the prevention measures born from her tragedy. 17 young lives were potentially saved in the first year alone, 17 families spared the grief that Chyna still endures. The Essex Street Memorial has become permanent, a garden with 18 rosebushes that bloom each May. Community members tend it year-round, a living reminder that beauty can emerge from devastation. Manning and Foy watched this transformation from prison cells. Their betrayal earned them decades of confinement, while Chyna's memory inspires freedom from violence for others. Her mother speaks at schools nationwide, turning personal anguish into protection for other families. "My daughter's death was preventable," she tells audiences. "Your child's doesn't have to happen." If Chyna's story moved you, please share it. Each share potentially reaches someone who needs these warnings, someone who might notice concerning behavior before it becomes deadly, someone who might report what they see, someone who might save a life. Subscribe for more stories that offer both truth and protection. Like this video to help it reach more viewers. And comment with your own community safety strategies. Your insight might provide the exact guidance another family needs. Chyna Forney should be working as a nurse today. Instead, her story serves as powerful medicine for communities still within our power to heal.